We should be live right now. Good evening to everyone. How's everybody doing on tonight? Lakeisha McKnight is here, your leadership specialist and wealth mentor. Welcome to the Leadership TKO Live Night Show. Welcome to the night show, everybody. And I'm just glad to be here before you on tonight on this beautiful Wednesday. It is a Wednesday here in Chesapeake, Virginia, January the 8th. And I am elated to be here, before each and every one of you on tonight. So what I'm going to do is, before we dive into anything, I know I'm live in several places right now, but I am going to set up a watch party in a very special group. And this group, of course, is is comprised of women who are very, very active. And so I want to definitely go live in that particular group as well. So I'm going to start it up. I'm going to check the audio just to make sure that the audio is good as well. All right. I know I'm live. Okay, sounds like the audio is pretty good. Good evening, ladies. So welcome aboard, everyone from around the world. Excited to be here before you. Right now, we're live on Facebook. We're also live on Spreaker, iHeartRadio. We're live over at the Leadership TKO Station.com's website. And we're not just live here in the United States, but this podcast, this night show, is heard in over 100 countries. I want to say maybe, of course, maybe close to 25, 30 countries, okay? But then that's to my knowledge. But I know that there are more and more countries that are tuning in to this particular podcast show. And so on behalf of the iLead Company's leaders, I want to say thank you so very much for choosing iLead and choosing this night show to help you to blossom and to grow as leaders. Because the mission, the whole purpose of this show really is to empower leaders like yourself with the ability to win from the inside out, growing your influence, your impact, and your income. Those three areas. And so we invite you, click on the Get Notified button if you see that somewhere near the comment section. Love this stream if you know the importance, okay, of leadership development as it pertains to growing a successful business. You're going to want to make sure you stay plugged into this podcast show. We do this every single night around 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, notice I said around because we were a little bit past the hour tonight because there was another meeting prior to this that we had to have, and we had to complete that meeting. And so I'm here before you tonight, and you might see the topic matter at hand, right? Change your core to change your quadrant. Now, if you're not familiar with my now distant mentor, it used to be a close mentor because I used to actually be under his mentorship, right? And that is Mr. Robert Kiyosaki, right? I love this book here. If you haven't read this book, this needs to be added to your library, especially if you're an entrepreneur. This needs to be added to your library. It's called Rich Dad's Cash Flow Quadrant Guide to Financial Freedom. So if you want to achieve financial freedom, if that's your goal in 2020, I invite you to grab a copy of this. Now, you can get it off of Amazon, right? Grab yourself a copy of it. In this book, he talks about 4 essential quadrants where people can actually receive income. So he talks about being employed, being self-employed, being a business owner, and being an investor. Now, if you want to achieve financial freedom, he speaks of in this book, he talks about the importance of being on the right side of the quadrant, which involves being a business owner and being an investor. Because on the left side of the quadrant, you have little to no time freedom whatsoever. Little to no time freedom if you are an employee or self-employed. And you have a little taste of financial freedom, a little bit, if you're self-employed, just a little bit, but you still have some limitations there, right? But you can experience financial time and location freedom as a big business owner and as an investor. And so reading that book, I'm going to be pulling out some more nuggets along the way, not just tonight, but along the way from this particular book. So what I do want to share, however, is that he makes a very good point okay, about if you want to achieve financial freedom and if you want to be in a different quadrant. So say, for example, you are employed right now, but it is your goal to operate your business full time. If you want to operate your business full time, you're going to have to make a transition from being an employee to being a business owner, depending on the type of business you have. Because here's the truth. Most people think that they're moving from the E quadrant to the B quadrant. And what they simply did was move from the E quadrant to the S quadrant. There's a difference between being self-employed and being a business owner. And one of the key differences is with being a business owner, you have to have a system in place so that the business can run on its own. Essentially, the business should be operating so much so that you are making money while you sleep. That's what happens when you are a big business owner. So last night, if you did not make any money while you slept, ask yourself the question, are you a business owner or are you self-employed? Self-employed professionals need to be present, need to be working in their business often. There's a lot of time restriction. They have little to no time freedom because you're working in the business. So if you did not make money last night while you slept, ask yourself the question, are you a business owner and what do you need to do to become a business owner? Now, the other point that I really want to make is that in order for you to transition from being on the left side of the quadrant to the right side of the quadrant, here is the big difference. He says changing quadrants is often a change at the core of who you are. The very core, your heart, that thing that gives you that unction to move and to take action is at the core of who you are that needs to change. You see, one of the things that I often share when I go out and I do trainings for organizations and I do conduct trainings for network marketing teams, right? And one thing that I do share is that you cannot bring an employee mindset into the network marketing space. You can't. It's not going to fit. There's not going to be someone forcing you to take action, forcing you to engage in tasks. There's no one that's going to be able to do that for you. You have to change at the very core of who you are. Now, let me talk a little bit more about that, okay? Here's what he says, and I want to read this verbatim because this is very, very important. He says, how do I tell if people are in the E, the S, the B, or the I quadrant without knowing much about them? One of the ways is by listening to their words. Listening to their words. So let's talk about words. Let's talk about words right now. He says, E quadrant, or those who are employed, here are the employed individual's words. A person who comes from the E or the employee quadrant might say these words. I am looking for a safe, secure job with good pay and excellent benefits. Now, of course, I'm going to question this whole good pay thing, right? Because you're capping yourself, at a job. They give you the amount, whether hourly or a salary, as to how much you can make. So pretty much they're telling you how much you're worth when you're an employee. I don't know about you, but nobody can place a number on how much I'm worth. Let's talk about the S quadrant's words. Okay, the S quadrant. A person who comes from the S or self-employed quadrant might say, my rate is $75 per hour, or my normal commission rate is 6% of the total price. Or you might hear this, I can't seem to find people who want to work and do the job right. Or, I've got more than 20 hours into this project. You're still having that hourly mentality, okay? That hourly mentality. When you're a business owner, it's not based on how much you get paid per hour. It's based on the value of your work, period. You can do something for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and still get paid thousands and thousands of dollars. I always bring up this thought about my present mentor. One of my present mentors is Dr. John Maxwell. And you can bring him in for 45 minutes, an hour, whatever it may be, and he still might charge you $100,000 just to bring him in to speak at your event. And that's easy, an easy $100,000 to request him to come in and speak. It might even be more this year. So I just want you to think about that. Those are the words of the S Quadrant professionals. Again, they are the experts. They are the professionals, right? And they're pretty much slaves to their passion because they don't have time freedom. Let's talk about the B quadrant words. Those, you can tell individuals who are business owners, here are their words, right? They'll say something like this: I'm looking for a new president to run my company. A new president to run the company. So they're not even talking about being in the business. They're like, look, I need somebody to be over all of this because I want a hands-off approach. You can tell that they're thinking already in terms of systems, putting someone in place. Because here's the thing, when you are a business owner, you either have systems of resources or you have systems of people or a combination of the two. And think about the network marketing model of business. You're going to have systems of people because you got your network, right? And that's called leverage. Then you have your system of resources because you have a systematic way that you're sharing with people how to go about growing their network. It's a process. It's a procedure. It's a simple duplication system. So if you get a large group of people to engage in a small amount of steps over a consistent, extended period of time, you're going to see results and you're going to experience financial freedom in this industry called network marketing. But let's talk about the I quadrants words. Okay, the I quadrants words. Someone operating out of the I or the investor quadrant might say this: is my cash flow based on an internal rate of return or a net rate of return? Okay, so they're talking about returns. How much money is going to be coming my way because I already put something in it. Now I want to see what's going to be coming out and coming back to me. But they're talking about a flow of income, passive, right? Coming back to them. So that's the words, the mindset. See, here's the key. What he's trying to get at is you can tell and you can discover what quadrant a person is in, what they're operating from by listening to their words. Here is the deal. Here's the connection. Out of the abundance of the heart, right, the mouth speaks. Out of the very essence of who you are, your heart, you're going to speak it and communicate and bring that forward. So you can tell the essence of a person. You can tell who a person is by simply listening to them. Listening. And so if you want to see where your partners are in your network marketing organization, your network, you want to see the core of who they are and whether they're making that transition, listen to them. Don't do a whole lot of talking. Listen to them and you'll begin to see whether they're still operating as an employee or they're operating as a business owner or an investor. Okay? So if you want to make that transition, for those of you out here, I'm going to summarize it right here. If you want to make the transition and you want to achieve financial freedom and you want to be a business owner or an investor, you have to change the core of who you are. Begin to change the words that you're speaking. Begin to dig into some books. Read books from those quadrants. Hang around people who are operating full time in those quadrants. Those people who may be a step or two or three ahead of you. You want to connect with them. You want to listen to them. So for example, I can share with you right now, I'm operating in the quadrant, the B quadrant, full time as an investor, full time. You're listening to someone who is doing this, who is putting in the hours, putting in the work, the years. I've actually been plugged into the network marketing space. Wow, since 2002. But I became serious about this industry about 3 to 4 years ago. Okay, 3 to 4 years ago. I know I've been in it, but being serious it really requires your full attention and your heart, because it's not a flip it and get it type of thing. You have to work at it. It's like climbing up a mountain, right? And you have to keep climbing till you get to the point where you're trying to get. Now, you're not always going to stay on top of the mountain, because like this industry has proven itself. It goes like this. So you have to, as my senior mentor, Ty Best, he says, give yourself and give your organization time to succeed. It's not going to happen overnight. And so that's what we must do. This is a lifestyle thing. This is not something that happens overnight. So give yourself time to succeed. And I love the fact that we're concluding this way, right? Because Mr. Ty Best, he's actually the founder of Wealth Builders Worldwide, okay? And it's a bigger team that's really comprised of thousands of individuals who are plugged into a money system. It's helping people, money system, right? To free people just about every day. People are firing their bosses, right? Often within this organization. It's because of the money system. This is a system that's helping us to break free from a debt-based foundation to an asset-based foundation. So for those of you who are here, you have goals. You're listening, you're watching, and you have a goal to achieve financial freedom. You have a goal of being able to establish and create massive wealth. Well, I'm going to invite you, and those who may have shared this video with you, they're inviting you to learn about a money system that can free you and your family. You see, my two children, and you hear me say this often, they will never need to work a job. Their ages 3 and 7. They will never need to know, they will never really know what it means to complete a job application. They see their parents with them, right? They see their parents with them. So I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you that if you want to put yourself in position where you can earn extra $100, $200, $300, $600, whatever it may be for you, whatever your goals may be, maybe you have a bigger goal of becoming a millionaire or a multimillionaire. It is absolutely doable, because we have people part of this system who is making $50,000 per week, $100,000 per week within this system. So you had the unique opportunity to plug in. So inbox me or inbox the person that may have shared this particular stream with you. Learn how to get plugged into the system. It's absolutely free to plug into the money system, and learn how to build wealth, real wealth. All right. Robert Kiyosaki, guess what? He speaks of the assets. He's actually accumulating and storing and saving assets, the same assets that I'm saving in and that thousands of people who are saving in through the money system. We're doing the same thing that pretty much Robert Kiyosaki is doing. And so we want to invite you to do the same. You do what the wealthy do, not necessarily what they say. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm about to transition because my senior mentor, Mr. Best, he's actually going to be doing a live stream. We call it the Wednesday Freedom Call, okay? But he does a live stream video version of it. So if you want to hear from my mentor, Mr. Best, I want to invite you to definitely stay tuned for a watch party. For those of you who are tuning in right now, stay tuned for the watch party. I will try to do this watch party, all right? And it's going to take place inside of the group, and it's going to be on my timeline. So it's going to be both places. So be sure to tune in for that. And for those of you who decide to plug into the money system, we're having an orientation. There will be an orientation directly following that freedom call slash watch party. Okay? So you'll know exactly what you need to do, being able to plug into the money system, and the simple steps that you'll need to take so that you can achieve financial freedom. It's just that simple. And the steps are really simple, everybody. Really, really simple. So again, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to the Leadership TKO Night Show. I am your leadership specialist, your wealth mentor. Again, Lakeisha McKnight. So we'll be back tomorrow night, probably a little bit before 9 o'clock. All right. And we're going to give you more information on how to grow your home-based business and become the leader that God has called you to be. So until the next time that you and I come together again, I want to encourage you to think, to speak, and to live leadership. Good night. God bless. And stay tuned for those of you who are on social media. Stay tuned for the Freedom Call /stream. Be blessed, everybody.